call it hang out on the back deck weather, right? It's an extension of your home, especially this time of year, way to bring the party outside. But it needs upkeep, just like any other area of your home. And Hannah Welker is in Chilai this morning, fixing it up herself. It's DIY Wednesday. And Hannah, how's it going?
Hey, Jen, it's actually going really well. We're now to the point where we can start applying stain. Obviously, this deck will be redone, but for purposes right now, we're showing you what the stain looks like when it's laid down. Now, this is latex stain. Is that right, Eric?
That's correct. And the good way to tell latex, you can take a brass key and go with the grain, and Hannah has the key.
Yeah, this is kind of a cool trick. How'd you learn this?
I learned this through paint sales rep. And what it'll do on latex paint is leave a pencil mark.
Hey, you see that?
Now, if it's oil stain, it will gouge the wood instead of leave a pencil mark.
So this is almost like we see like a little gray streak, and it'll be a lot different if it's not.
Correct.
And that means what? It's oil?
It's oil. And then you want to, if it's oil, there's more prep work to be done. You'll have to either sand the surface in full or stick with an oil-based product.
So what are the benefits of using latex versus oil?
Latex is more environmentally friendly. It's easier to clean up. You can just use soap and water. Oil, you have to go with chemicals, such as paint thinner, and you have more of a mess. Less odor with latex also.
And what mistakes do you see from people who maybe don't know that trick, don't know what their deck was originally?
They'll go over it, and then that's what will cause it to peel in a year.
So if you use the wrong product, say your deck was originally oil, and you go over it with a different product, you could really be damaging it.
Not damaging it, you just won't get the expectancy out of it, especially with the cost of materials these days. You'll be redoing your project again a year later.
Now, when we apply this, you kind of told me you hold the paintbrush like a pencil.
That's right. You want to hold it like a pencil down on the metal. You don't want to have a death grip on it.
Yeah.
If you hold it like a pencil, the brush will do more work for you, and it allows it to float.
And you also want to remind people to not be afraid to use a lot of paint.
Use a lot of product that's stain.
A lot of stain. And now, how long will this take to dry, and will we need to put another coat on?
You only want one coat anytime you stain a deck. Second coat will make the product fail, and you want to be fairly liberal with it. The best thing is to do it in a shady area as we are, because in direct sunlight it'll dry too fast.
Really?
And if Hannah and I don't get to the same spot, say mine dries and hers doesn't, she comes over mine, it'll leave a lap mark. So you won't have a good finished product.
You encourage people to move from outside to inside.
Correct. And then once we get to the middle, then we work back out again.
We blend in together. That's how you make a nice, wow. Well, Eric, one more reminder or tip for people when they're trying to tackle a project like this, if they've never done it before, what do you encourage people to do?
You can ask, the best way to do is ask your paint store or hardware store where you're getting your material, and typically they'll send you in the right direction with the right tools to do it.
And you say preparation is key. Remind people prep work is key. This does not happen overnight. You got to take a few days, expect a few days, depending on how big your area is, to really get the job done. Thank you so much, Eric. This has been awesome.
You're welcome.
Do you think I could work alongside with you, maybe?
You'd be a pro in no time.
You mean I could do this? You know, Eric does odd jobs, which is pretty cool. He's actually roofing a house later. I think I'll keep that to you.
I could have you stain in your own deck in half an hour.
Real quick, when people think decks like this, it almost looks like paint. But what's the difference? Can you actually paint a deck versus stain a deck?
You don't want to use a paint on a deck. They do have all-surface enamel, but typically it peels due to the moisture in the wood. So you want to stick with the stain, and the stain soaks into the wood. A solid stain such as we're using sits more on the surface.
Right.
There are different stains. You can have solid, semi-solid, and semi-transparent are the big ones.
And talk about the transparent. That's a stain that almost looks like wood, correct?
You'll see the wood grain through it, but you'll have the color you want. If you go with charcoal, but you'll see a lot more wood grain. Such as a solid, you'll know it's wood, but you're not going to see the wood.
Fantastic. And Eric, real quick, if people are doing a DIY project, maybe they need some advice from you, any way they could contact you, website, anything like that?
They could call me. My number is 739-2801.
739-2801. I'll tell you, Eric can do anything. Eric's got an answer for all of your home problems. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope we've helped you guys kind of figure out a way to refinish your back deck. So
cocktails like 4:30, 5 o'clock out there. We'll meet you there, Hannah.